Jill and make sure those tenant files.
If there had been a standard procedure to follow for the tenant files, do you think that this would have been avoided?
Well, it's hard to say because it might be just an oversight on our part because of just not understanding that those individuals had selected the flat rate rent. And so it might have just been an oversight on our part. And that's why we like to, we wanted to go with the draft version first, just to make sure that, okay, we're not gonna issue a report saying there are findings and, come back and get a better understanding, get everybody within the organization a chance to look at it and say, okay, well, we disagree with that, we should look into that further, and then come back. So generally we try to do that before we get to the draft stage, but with the timing, and then just playing phone tag with Jill, it just didn't work out that way. But we'll definitely look into that, and then, if we have some recommendations, we'll definitely share them. But it sounds like that finding will be removed too. But 2015-004, this finding will stay in the report. This was as a result of the voucher program. HUD restricts what the housing authority can pay for management fees out of HUD money. Generally, HUD's biggest concern with these housing authorities, and again, this is where it comes into the complexity, because you have all these different programs, some of them being HUD programs, some of them being non-HUD programs. HUD's major concern is they want to make sure that the money they're giving the organization is being spent in the right way. And so they don't want HUD money being spent on non-HUD, costs. And so they say, okay, they issue guidelines. This is, okay, here's what the housing authority or the voucher program can pay in a management fee to, basically the housing authority as a whole for administering the program. And so there was an increase in the fees this year of in total $50,000, and those payments were in excess of what HUD allows. And so basically the general fund will have to just pay back the voucher fund for those costs. So nothing in total as far as on the housing authority side, no cash is gonna exit. It's just gonna be, this cash has to be moved back from voucher back to from general back to the voucher program. So again, just the recommendation there is, before, especially when it comes to HUD programs, making sure that, you're following all the rules as far as what those management fees can be paid, so.
Yeah, and we can't lay that on Scott. We discussed as a management team how to handle that, and we all agreed, yep. So.
Yeah.
That is because no charges were charged.
Yeah, that was the other thing, probably before my time, probably 3 years ago, right when HUD was cutting all our funding and stuff, the housing authority forgave the voucher program a great amount of money for these particular things.
Subsidize it.
Yeah, because they didn't have any money. So instead of cutting staff, we cut the fees. And we were just looking at, could we try to get a little bit back? Just went about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely anytime you wanna, do that, get HUD approval before you, make those.
So should that be a call that they make to you, or I can go into HUD?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to
To get, to be.
I mean, ultimately, HUD's in charge. They
Yeah, no,
decide. I mean,
I
it's their rules. They can, I mean, we could tell you one thing and then HUD could tell you completely different. So, we might have some guidance, beforehand. Yep. So yeah, definitely feel free to reach out to us, too. So, Zach pointed out I did skip finding 2015-003, public housing, again, another low rent. A little bit different finding than 2015-002. I don't remember the details, but it was a error calculation. Again, I don't know if this is one that will go away, but we'll visit with Jill again. We'll have the tenant file pulled back out. We'll have everybody look at it and see if again it was a very small error. So it's just 1 out of 60 files where resulted in a monthly error of $14. So really more just an FYI than anything. So, and again, that could be where one of the things that we always recommend is, and each housing authority is different. They have to determine what they can basically do with the staff that they have. But one of the things we always recommend when it comes to tenant files is, having, program people either switch files, review each other's work, or maybe have Jill or somebody on a test basis review files, making sure that everybody's doing things consistently, that calculations are being done, properly, those types of things. But again, that's just something that the authority has to look at to say, okay, what makes sense? There's not a right size fits all for everybody. I mean, everybody has to look at and say, okay, what makes sense for us? This 1 out of 60 is overall really good. I mean, nobody's perfect. You're gonna have, again, minor errors. It's really more of a, just be aware of it. With our sample guidance, when we based on our audit rules, with a population of 250, it says, okay, if you're expecting no errors, you would select 60 files to test. And so if we select 65 files, then there should be zero errors in that. If we identify one, then, we're supposed to, communicate that, so. But again, just a minor error that we had noticed, so. So I think, yeah, that was it for the current year finance. And again, okay, page 46 is a summary schedule of the prior year finance. So we did have the preparation of financial statements and adjusting journal entries as findings last year too. So again, you can see the preparation of financial statement findings has been a finding since 2007. The adjusting journal entry one has been since 2013. So again, nothing out of the ordinary for smaller organizations that don't necessarily have all of the resources to have high level CPAs on staff that would be able to remove the preparation of financial statements and adjusting journal entry findings. So it's just a cost benefit. Does it pay to have pay more and hire additional people that would get rid of this finding, or is it just something that you guys can live with?
Okay, any questions from anybody?
Just for my edification, on the last page, where we talked 214A, initial fiscal year ending occurred 2007. Tell me what that means.
So the preparation of financial statement finding that we issued this year, 2015-A,
Yeah.
we've had that's been a finding since 2007. So it's nothing new. So that's a new requirement this year to disclose how long that's been a finding. So you can see as a board whether it's a new finding or it's an existing finding that you've had in the past.
And correct me if I'm wrong, prior to 2007, that wasn't a reason for a finding.
Correct. Yeah, there was a new standard that came out that said, again, it's management's financial statements. Management's supposed to prepare the financial statements. Most small companies, don't have a CPA on staff who could put this, together. Most small companies use their auditors to do it.
Yeah.
As auditors, we have to assess, does the organization have the ability to do this in-house? And that's, based on our assessment with the staff you have on hand, that, they would, the authority wouldn't be able to prepare these without our assistance, which again, like I said, is
Yeah.
common for most organizations that we audit.
That's helpful. That helps me understand this
Yep.
issue.
And when do you anticipate the final, roughly?
So one of the things that we'll have to have completed before we can issue the audit is everything will need to get uploaded to HUD, and so the financial data schedules have to accompany the audited financial statements. So it's essentially taken this and put it in HUD's format, because we have to opine on the FDS schedules. HUD requires that. So once those FDS schedules are done and making sure that it reconciles back to here, then we can issue the audit. And then I'll also get clarification on these deficiencies that we have. We can issue two different reports, one without the FDS schedules and one with them, but the one that gets uploaded to HUD has to reference the FDS schedules, or they'll reject the audit. So it really just depends on how quickly you need the audit, whether you can wait, for Scott to get everything inputted into React for us to review it, and then attach those FDS schedules to the report. So it's really up to you. If you need them, quicker, then we can, issue the audit without those schedules.
I don't think that we do anything that you would, wait and get it all done.
And I probably would have had them done except for last week.
Oh. Jeez, what was last time?
I don't know.
HUD system has been up and down too. I've been talking to other people and they said that, the system is all over the place right now, so it's hit or miss.
Really?
Yeah.
Technology ain't great.
Mhm. Yeah, especially HUD systems. So, any other questions on the audit?
Very thorough review, thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.
So the next action step will be for Scott and Jill to address these issues.
Mhm. Yeah. Every board is different. Some organizations like to approve the audit before it goes final. There's no rule that says you have to. And it's really up to the board to decide, to authorize, Lynn and Scott to approve the audit. And then to, that you basically approve it after the fact, or, if you wanna see a new draft before it goes final, or whether you're fine with getting a final audit at your next board meeting. So it's really up to your guys' decision on how you wanna